Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to be busting some modeling myths. I'm going to be going through some of the biggest assumptions that people make about models and the modeling industry, and I'm going to be telling you whether those are true or false. So let's see how much you really know, and let's get into the video. Okay, for the first one, we have models always get free clothes. And this could not be more false. Other than maybe like one shoot in Greece that I can remember, I didn't receive any free clothes until I had won America's Next Top Model and like developed a bit of a social media following. When you do a shoot for a company, they have you try on usually samples. You wear the clothes, you take the photos, you take them off, and you give them back. And literally only one time before America's Next Top Model that I can remember did a brand ever say, yeah, you can just keep the clothes. Like, that just does not happen. And if they do, sometimes it's like you can have one shirt or something like that, but it is just not a common thing at all unless you're like a celebrity or a socialite or social media influencer. But if you are a model on set to shoot the clothes, you don't get to keep the clothes, like, ever. Your payment is money usually, not clothes. Okay, the next two are kind of similar. The first one is models have eating disorders, and if this is a sensitive topic for you, skip ahead a couple minutes, but I'm going to say this one is true and false. I have met a lot of girls who struggle with eating disorders because the modeling industry is very, very critical of your body. Like, from a very young age, I started at 16, but some girls start at 13, at 12, and from that age they're telling you to lose weight, or you're not tall enough, or your shoulders are too broad, or your gap in your teeth is too big, or whatever it is. They're always very critical on your body, and I have had agents recommend like insane diets. I had one agent tell me that I should avoid all fruit except for papayas because I guess they're the lowest in sugar, and she said pineapples are Satan. Like, literally she said that. That same agency also told me to buy whitening cream to lighten my skin because it was in Singapore and they wanted me to have even lighter skin. But anyways, back to the eating disorder situation. I have met a lot of girls who starve themselves, but I have met a lot of girls who are really healthy and take care of themselves. So this one is true and false. I have seen both, and so I don't want it to be an assumption of the whole industry, but a lot of models do struggle with that. I definitely struggled with it on a smaller scale. I wouldn't say I had an eating disorder, but I definitely like would go full days without eating and then like reward myself with a chocolate bar at the end of the day. That was when I was at my worst. It was when I was in Milan and trying to get skinnier and skinnier because all the girls are really tiny there. And anyways, I was able to come out of that, and I am so like body positive now and happy in my own body. So glad I was able to overcome whatever little tiny ounce of a disorder I may have been developing. And PSA, I would just like to say that in my opinion, 12 or 13 is too young to start modeling. Agents, photographers, stylists will all start being very critical on your body from the moment you enter the modeling industry. So I recommend that you do not get into modeling until you have a good head on your shoulders, a good support system around you, and are confident enough to like brush those people off. Okay, so let's get back into our myth busting. Sorry I went on a bit of a tangent, but that is a very sensitive topic and also just something that I feel like needs to be addressed. Okay, so the next one that is kind of similar is that models don't eat. This one is again true and false. Sorry, they won't all be both. Some of my friends and some of my roommates can eat hot dogs all day, burgers, dessert, ice cream, alcohol, you know, whatever they want, and they do not put on a pound. And some people have to be really, really careful about what they eat, whether that's following a strict diet or not eating as much or as frequently or whatever. I have seen it all. So I think all of our bodies have like a natural weight, and I don't think we should fight our natural weight, if that makes sense. I can't say true or false for that one either. But the next ones do have definitive answers, so let's move into those. Okay, next one is that models are dumb, and this one is definitely false. First of all, if you are able to get into the modeling industry and start making really good money from potentially the age of frickin' 13 or like 16 or whatever, good for you. I was making a lot of money all throughout high school through modeling. I don't think that's a very dumb route to go if you ask me. And the beautiful thing about modeling, especially these days, is that it can become a bit of an empire. You can be on social media, you can start a brand, you can, you know, do acting as well. So I definitely don't think that most models are dumb. I will say I have met some girls who have only ever modeled, never went to school, never had another job. Modeling is all they know. And sometimes they're a little bit ditzy, but I would never say that they're dumb. Models are entrepreneurs and self-starters in general, so that one is definitely false. All right, next one is models make a ton of money. So this is false. Of course, models at the higher level make bank. Oh my gosh, tons of money. They're rolling in it, as we all know. But I'm talking about just models who are, you know, starting out, just doing it as their career on a bit of a lower scale, but enough to, you know, support themselves. And the deal is, we do make a lot of money if you break it down to our day rate or our hourly rate, but it's really hard to get consistent work. You could work once in a month, and then the very following month you could work 3 times or 10 times, or like the supermodels, freaking 30 days straight. Okay, maybe not 30 days straight, but a lot of the days. So I'll just give you an idea. When I was first starting out, like first entered the modeling industry, not a lot of experience, I immediately was making $150 to $200 an hour. That's just like what you earn as a model straight out of the gate. So usually for a day's work, like 8 hours, I would get around $1,500. And that's really great, especially when I was in high school and living at home and didn't have to pay rent and all that stuff. So that's why I was able to make decent money. But once you move out and start having other expenses, it becomes a little bit more difficult, obviously. So yes, we make a lot of money for our time, but it can be difficult at times to get consistent work. So sometimes you don't make as much money for the month, but you made a lot of money for the day, if that makes sense. All right, on to the next one. Instagram models are not real models. I'm sorry to say that this is true. I think there are different categories of modeling, obviously runway, swimwear, commercial, high fashion, whatever, but Instagram modeling is like its own separate category. I think a lot of times people see these girls posting social media content on their pages and they assume that they are models, but that is a different category. When I am talking about models, I'm talking about like agency signed professional working models. Some agency signed professional working models also have an Instagram following and post pictures on there. But I think that an Instagram model and like a fashion model are two very different things. And I also think that it's so okay to be either one. There's no problem with just being an Instagram model or just being a fashion model, or combine the two online. So anyways, there's no right or wrong way to do it, just they are not the same thing. So there's my little explanation on that. Moving on. All right, the next one is that models are super tall. And I'm going to start by saying that this is true, but that doesn't mean that you can't succeed if you are shorter. There's definitely a height range that agencies recommend you be in, and that's 5'9" to 6 feet. And I'm 5'8", so I'm just a little bit short. And most of the girls that I work with or that I live with are in fact taller than me, but people are breaking standards all the time. So there's really no rule. It's in your own hands to find a way to succeed. But typically, yes, models are tall. All right, next one, models can't act. And I'm gonna start by saying this is true. I used to play this game where I would watch a TV commercial and I would guess whether the person in the commercial is a model or actress. You should try it sometime. It's actually usually pretty obvious if they're a model or an actor. Most models I know do not cross over into the acting world, but good on them if they're able to. I just signed with my commercial agency, which is a little bit different type of acting. I think models are a bit more suited for commercial acting typically, but good for you if you're able to break out of the modeling industry and become a TV and film actress. It's just typically a hard thing to do for models to act, but it's so cool if you can, so there's that for you. All right, on to the last myth. But I think I might make a part 2 to this, but I need your guys' help. So please drop some assumptions in the comments below and I can tell you in my next video whether they are true or false. Okay, so the last one I'm gonna do is that models smoke cigarettes. And this one is also true. I have lived all over the world, in Singapore, Milan, Athens, New York, Los Angeles, etc., and lived with hundreds of models. and I am typically the only one that doesn't smoke. Pretty much every roommate that I've worked with or every model that I'm on set with smokes cigarettes. I will say that Los Angeles is an exception, and for some reason a lot of girls in LA are a lot more healthy with their eating habits and also drinking habits, smoking habits, whatever. So maybe there's not as many smoker models here in LA, but around the world and in New York, it is definitely the norm. I even have a little story for you guys. When I was in Greece, we would go out as a group for dinner and then like to a party or something, and we'd go out as a big group of, you know, 30 or something, and we're all sitting down at dinner, and at one point everybody would just get up and like go outside to smoke, and I got really sick of being the only one sitting at this massive table just waiting for everyone to get back. And so embarrassingly, I actually bought a water vapor pen, like one that doesn't have nicotine or anything, but you just suck on it and like water vapor comes out, which I would never do that now, but I was like, oh, I want to go on a smoke break with the other girls, and so I got that pen and used it probably 4 times. But anyways, that just proves my point that literally I'm like usually the only one that's not smoking. Okay, so that wraps up this video of busting modeling myths. If you guys liked it, please do let me know. I might make a part 2, but I kind of struggled to think of some assumptions. So like I said, drop them below and I will address them in the next video. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss another video. I will see you next time on Thursday. Thank you for watching. See you later. Bye.